If you somehow didn't know already, in 2024, Thorpe Park opened their brand new roller coaster called Hyperia. This would be the UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster and be regarded by many as the best roller coaster in the UK. This is the first roller coaster they had added since the Swarm back in 2012, which was over 12 years ago. Before the Swarm, Thorpe Park was adding new roller coasters every 3 to 4 years. In this video, we will be predicting the next 5 years of Thorpe Park's future. We will see if Thorpe Park continues to stop adding new roller coasters, or if Thorpe Park will go back to pre-2012, where they were frequently adding brand new thrill coasters. We actually already know what Thorpe Park is getting in 2026. In 2024, Thorpe Park announced that the beach would be closing. This was always closed whenever I went, and I won't really miss it that much. Many people were speculating that there was going to be a Mack Extreme Spinner or world's tallest roller coaster. Well, no, they're actually getting Project Pivot. This will be an area with lots of seating and benches, and there will also be a big stage. And this will be used for many events that Thorpe Park does, so I'm actually really excited for this. As well as this, they're also getting a Lakeside Hotel. This will be behind the staff car park, will have over 100 rooms, and yeah, this will be a good addition because Thorpe Park doesn't really have much accommodation, so yeah, pretty cool. I don't think much is going to happen in 2027. It's probably going to be a break year, just like 2025. They could get a few kids rides, maybe Zamperla and Nebula. They've been popping up everywhere around the world. But yeah, I think they're going to be preparing for 2028, as I think this will be the next big addition. Thorpe Park is really lacking in a good family coaster. Yeah, they've got Walking Dead, but I wouldn't even say that's family because it's themed to a horror movie. I think 2028 is definitely the time for a new family coaster. I know Thorpe Park is a thrill park, but they do still need some rides for the family. Now I'm going to go through the 5 most likely options for a family coaster. First is a B&M family coaster, something like Penguin Trek at SeaWorld Orlando. Merlin has worked with B&M many times before, for example like Nemesis Inferno or The Swarm, so I think this would be quite likely if B&M rides still rode like they used to. As of recently, newer B&Ms have gotten many complaints about them being way too rough, and because of this, and because it is much more expensive than many other family coasters, I think it is definitely the least likely option out of the 5. Next is an RMC World Moose. While none of these have been built yet, these look really good, and I think will be great for the whole family. They are really compact and are also really cheap as well. So I think Thorpe Park could go for this option, but I would definitely rather them get a thrill hybrid coaster than a family hybrid coaster. Next is a Gerstlauer family coaster. Something like Fire Chaser Express at Dollywood would fit really well here. And of course, Thorpe Park has worked with Gerstlauer before with Soar the Ride. And this ride model is so dynamic. It can go backwards, forwards, possibly even drop tracks. There's so much you can do with this ride model, so I do think this is definitely one of the most likely options. Next is the Intamin Multi-Dimension Coaster. This ride model is found at Alton Towers with 13, and there's also one being built at Chessington. So it looks like Merlin is getting a lot of these for their parks, so it wouldn't surprise me if Thorpe Park got one of these. I imagine it would be something like Studio Tour and Movie Park Germany, as Chessington is getting one similar to Uncharted. A lot like the Gerstlauer family coaster, these can do so much. From spikes to tilt tracks, you can basically just do anything on this ride model. And I think this would be a great fit for Thorpe Park, as they don't have anything that goes backwards. These can also be really well themed, and Thorpe Park has done some really good theming in the past. I think the most likely option for a family coaster is going to be the Vekoma family launch coaster. For example, something like Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood would fit so well at Thorpe Park. The main complaint about many Thorpe Park rides is the length of them. Stealth, Hyperia, The Swarm all get complaints about them being really short rides. But this model can give really long, high quality rides for a decently small price. And it looks like Vekoma family coasters are popping up everywhere with their boomerangs, mine trains, and now of course the family launch coaster. And Thorpe Park really needs a good multi-launch coaster, so this will fill a major gap in the park's lineup. Much like 2027, I don't see much happening in 2029, and I actually think one of the park's major coasters could close in 2029. For me, there are 2 possibilities. The first one is Colossus. This was the first ever roller coaster to have 10 inversions, and it was also the first major roller coaster in the park. Unfortunately, Colossus rides quite rough and isn't really too popular compared to the other major coasters. So I think Colossus is quite likely to get taken down, but I think the most likely is Stealth. Unlike Colossus, Stealth is one of the most popular rides in the park. The ride is known for having the fastest accelerating launch in the world and gives a really exhilarating ride experience. However, its hydraulic launch is very problematic, and in the past few years we've seen major rides using hydraulic launches get taken down, like King the Car, Topville Dragster. So I definitely think Stealth is the most likely coaster to get taken down. I think another ride that could get taken down right next to Stealth is Rumble Rapids. I never see a big line for this, and while it is an okay ride, it's probably the worst Rapids ride I've done. If you take both of these rides down, you definitely have room for another major coaster. I think 2030 is the year for Thorpe Park's next big thrill coaster. This will have been 6 years since Hyperia opened in 2024 and 2 years since their family coaster. And before 2012 they were adding new big thrill coasters around every 3 years, so I think now they would be due for their next thrill coaster. But where would this coaster go? Well, we've got the area behind Swarm Island. This is quite a big plot of land, so I definitely think this could be an area for the thrill coaster. Or this could be where the family coaster would have gone. But the coaster could also go in the plot of land where either Colossus or Stealth occupied if either of them were to be taken out. But what could this coaster be? Well, I've got 5 coasters, just like the family coasters, that I think this new thrill coaster would be. First is the Intamin multi-launch coaster. Something like Batman Gotham City Escape would be amazing. First, these can have spikes allowing the trains to go backwards, and Thorpe Park doesn't have any coasters that go backwards, so this would be much different to every other ride in the park. And like I said earlier, they do need a good multi-launch coaster. And these rides are ranked as some of the best roller coasters in the world, so it could even top Hyperia. They can also be really well themed, and of course Thorpe Park has done some great theming in the past. So I would absolutely love if one of these were added to Thorpe Park. Next is an RMC Raptor. There isn't a single roller coaster in the UK, so it'd be much different to every other experience in the country. And something like Yoy going to Wallaby Holland in 2025 would be an amazing fit. First, these are much cheaper to other manufacturers like B&M, and they get really good reviews from coaster enthusiasts. They could even get one of the smaller models like something like Railblazer or Stunt Pilot. They would still give a great ride experience. Next is a Mack Striker coaster. Thorpe Park has a really good relationship with Mack Rides as they were the manufacturer that made Hyperia, and with the recent success of Voltron at Europa Park, I can definitely see these popping up everywhere around the world. There's already one coming to Phantasiana in Austria, and I think this would be a near perfect fit at Thorpe Park. It's a multi-launch coaster that can be really well themed with great airtime. I think this is very likely to be added and can even top Hyperia if done really well. Next is a Mack Extreme Spinner like Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland Japan. These have similar qualities to Mack Striker coasters, but they're also spinning. Thorpe has no spinning coasters, so it'd be very different to everything else. There isn't really an extreme spinning coaster in the UK apart from Enzo, which is a paid experience. This could top Hyperia and could also be one of the best rides in the world, like Ride to Happiness. I think the most likely ride to be added though is an RMC hybrid coaster. Merlin has hinted towards working with RMC many times before, and I think a hybrid is a perfect fit at Thorpe Park. There's nothing like this not only in the park but in the UK. These can be some of the best rides in the world, like we've seen with rides like Steel Vengeance, I'm Gwazi, Airy Force 1, and every coaster enthusiast really wants an RMC in the country. And I think this could be perfect because it can easily be the best ride in the UK, with really whippy inversions, great ejector and floater airtime. They can have lower height restrictions. I think this is the most likely, but it might be just because I really want an RMC in the UK. I also think throughout these 5 years they will be continuing the Sparkle project. This is basically a project that just retracks and repaints all of the roller coasters to just make them look better. So yeah, I definitely think this will continue throughout the next 5 years. And there we go, predicted the next 5 years of Thorpe Park's future. I think the future for this park is really bright, and I'm really excited for future visits. I really want to get some more rides on Hyperia. Hopefully I'll be able to make a trip down there this year. So yeah, unfortunately I don't think they're going to build 10 clones of Hyperia. I think this park has the opportunity to have one of the best coaster lineups in the world in the next 10 years. Watch me be wrong and they never build a roller coaster ever again. Well, apart from maybe a Giga Zamperla Belair. Also, let me know your predictions in the comments below. And like and subscribe so we can get 1 trillion subscribers by the end of 2025. If you get 1 like on this video, I'll make a prediction video on Alton Towers too. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and goodbye. In 2050, Thorpe Park is definitely getting a PAX Exo coaster.